Hello everyone, today we're looking at some amazing low-cost cards that are going to be released in the Shadows of the Galaxy Star Wars Unlimited set. These don't cost much and are going to see some good play, and I think they could really swing the battle in your favour. So let's jump in with what is going to be a massive heal from your base via the client. Now, yeah, it can be played very early game. I'm not sure that's actually when you're going to want to use this unit though. It's shielded, so it's probably going to survive unless your opponent can do something about that and just remove a unit, maybe capture it or something like that. But take a look at the action. You choose a unit and give it a bounty. So basically, if you can kill it or capture it, it's going to heal 5 damage from your base. That's why I say it's not an early game card, because I don't think you're going to have that much damage early on your base. So medium, late game, this could be the card that swings victory for you. Following from the client, we have Village Protectors. Now this is going to, I think, be an early game card, because while it doesn't come with the best stats, 2/2, that's a bit of a weak card for a 3-drop, but Sentinel and shielded. So not only do your opponent have to take this out, they really have to attack it twice. So you just giving your other units on the battlefield chance to survive and maybe build them up with some upgrades or whatever to make them better. It's a real great card. I'm definitely going to be adding this to some of my decks. Next up is an upgrade that I've put on this because it's interesting. There's no other way, apart from this Foundling card, which is only 1 cost, to add a Mandalorian trait or any trait to a card. Now there's a number of things like armor and stuff that it's going to need you to have a Mandalorian trait to do like a bonus thing. So this could be a really nice one to add into a deck, and I just think this opens up some combo opportunities. Next up we have Spark of Hope, and this is going to be brilliant for your heroic ramp decks. Why? Because you're going to be able to potentially get a unit from your discard pile and add it into play as a resource. Now it's exhausted, but it's just getting it into things that bit quicker. You could basically play this in round 2 and get an extra resource. So getting that early game resource, getting your leader into play quicker, Spark of Hope is going to do that for you. Cobb Vanth is a new sort of thing that we've not necessarily seen before, because when defeated you're going to effectively look through your deck and discard something from it and then play it for free later in the phase from your discard pile. Well, it means in round 3 you'll have got this card out, maybe you used it to attack, deal some damage, take out another unit from the opponent, and then you're getting to play a 2 cost as well, or maybe you only found a 1 cost, but you're getting something else out onto the battlefield, sort of taking its place. So I think that's a really cool way of doing things, a free card and having to discard something from the deck. That's new. I'm sure there's some combos that people will find with this one. For those of you that absolutely hate shielded units, this one is for you. Give in to your anger. A 1 cost and it's dealing 1 damage to an enemy unit. Perfect for just chipping that shield off, and then they have to, if they can, attack with that unit. So you can have something shielded, sentinel unit, that you know they're going to have to attack if they're able to. And you can just chip that shield off with this card, and then they're going to basically kill themselves. It's a fantastic little one, and I can certainly see this being picked up in drafted and sealed events, and I think it'll be in most red decks as well. Following that we have Hotshot DL44 Blaster. This one's really interesting and utilises the new smuggle mechanic in a cool way. Normally a 1 cost red card, and well, yeah, it gives you 2 extra damage to whoever you're attaching it to. But if you smuggle it, well, first of all, the aspect on it changes, and if you use it as a smuggle, you actually get to attack with that unit straight away. So one of those things that gets you out of a double turn, because you're playing a card and attacking at the same time. So maybe getting you that initiative that little bit easier, and that change of aspect just makes it interesting on the smuggle. I could almost see it going in both coloured decks. Now, I could be completely wrong about Daring Raid, but I cannot remember another card that allows you to deal damage to a base or a unit. Normally they're only unit or even non-leader unit specific damage, or a base. It just feels like an extra bit of versatility for a little bit less damage. And early game, when you can play this easy as a 1, you're going to be able to take something out. I think it's just a strong red card. Of course, Grogu has to make the list, but not just because I have the amazing event exclusive version of it from UK Games Expo. It's a disgusting action on Grogu. Yeah, he's going to get taken out in a few rounds, but he's going to exhaust enemies along the way. So if you've got that initiative and they've only got 1 or 2 things out, you're going to be able to slow them down with this card. Grogu is irresistible. Set 2 seems all about upgrades, and Criminal Muscle is going to help you sort of disrupt your opponent's plays here, because when you play it you're going to return a non-unique upgrade to its owner's hand. So yes, they'll be able to play it out again, but it could mean that you've just taken off something super annoying or super buffing them up. Maybe they've just taken something off them that actually means their health ball is now negative or 0, and you've defeated it just by playing this 1 cost card. It seems a really good card for those cunning decks. Another cunning card, and who could not include a Jawa on the list? And a really interesting when played ability, because you can return a resource you control to your hand and then basically replace it with the top card of your deck. This means it's almost like a reverse smuggle. You can put something down, and if you've got this card in your deck, later on you could be like, oh, actually, I have buried that really high cost card, and I'm not getting other copies of it out of my deck. I know where it is. Let's play the Jawa and bring it back so I can play it later. So it's a bit of like an anti-smuggle in terms of you're getting it back into your hand rather than playing it from your resources, but it just gives more flexibility. As mentioned, set 2 does seem to have sort of quirks and fun stuff with upgrades, and this 2-cost jetpack is going to be a cool one to use. You could even smuggle it in for a cost of 4. But it's the when played that makes this really fun, because you're going to give a shield token to the attached unit. It'll only last that phase, it's going to be removed after that phase, but I think this is going to be great for playing this card in when someone's passed and you've got that little bit of extra resources, so you can make sure you can play it, get the shield on it, and attack doing extra damage because of the jetpack onto something, be that probably a unit, because then you're not taking any attack damage back. I like jetpack, and I think it will be picked up a lot. Of course, I couldn't make a list about Shadows of the Galaxy without mentioning one of the Bad Batch, and I think Tech has the best, or at least one of the most useful things, just to add some spice into your deck. Yeah, it's not the hardest hitting at only a 2/5, but this heroic unit, well, that's going to allow everything to have a smuggle. So effectively, at the additional cost of 2 extra, you're going to be able to smuggle a load of things in, and you could even smuggle tech into play for only 1 additional resource. Most smuggles are 2 additional ones. So really interesting sort of addition. It's not going to, you're not going to be able to do this for the entire game. It's not like that super strong, but when tech's in play, if you've got something down that doesn't have smuggle, you can get it into play if you really need it. Just giving everyone that bit of versatility. And last, but certainly not least, is Lady Proxima. This is going to be a lot of fun in those Underworld decks, which at the moment you can't do too much of, but with Set 2's release, it's going to become a bigger thing. Underworld being played means you deal 1 damage to a base. It's not the best for Twin Suns when there's many bases, but it's just an extra opportunity to do a little bit of chip damage off the back of some of your other Underworld cards. And I think people will want to take this unit out quite quickly. So there you have it. There's a load of cards that are really low cost that I think are going to be seeing a lot of play from the Shadows of the Galaxy set. Let me know in the comments section below which is your favourite card of the ones I've shown, and what one did I miss from the list. Until next time, have a Star Wars filled fantastic good day.